Welcome to the CFL Outsider, a few minutes
Whoa,
up.
whoa, wait. You can't say that.
Why?
It'll be longer than 3 minutes.
What?
You said a few minutes. A couple is 2, a few is 3, some is 4, more is 5. You can't say few. It's inaccurate.
Welcome to the CFL Outsider, a short series of totally impartial hot takes, odd takes, and generally unconventional opinions on the CFL and Canadian football, with your host and presenter, Old Man Shouting at Clouds.
Hey kids, welcome back to another episode of the CFL Outsider. I remain, as always, your 100% impartial, totally unbiased host and presenter, Old Man Shouting at Clouds. I've got to start out this week with this. Coach Dinwiddie, I'm not worthy. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. All last season, I pumped up your tires. I said, man, how good you are. You needed Coach of the Year. You were doing such a good thing. And then the off season came and all that crap happened. And people started talking down the Argos and how they were going to be lucky to be 50-50, to tread water. And it was a tough week. The first 3 games, I was cogniting so hard on them that you could see smoke coming out of my ears. So by the time I got to the last game, to you and the Lions and that, I was knackered. And rather than thinking through it like I should, I went with the crowd wisdom, what everybody was saying, and I picked the Lions. And so there we went. I went into Sunday night pick'em. My pick'em's at 3-0. I'm feeling pretty darn good about myself and thinking it's going to go well for about 10 minutes. And then I saw and I remembered what you're capable of. And yeah, I know the Lions scored that 20 points in the second quarter, but even then I knew where it was going. Congrats to you and the team. Very well played game. And the fact it screwed my weekend pick'em, I'm a big man. I cannot hold the grudge against that. That's my fault. But you won't fool me again with any of this talk about the Argos and turmoil or whatnot. I'm not going to underestimate you again. And sort of just about all of this. For anybody that's been around, or if you're the first time listener, this is brand new to me. I'm doing this is my 3rd week. So I'm kind of looking at the first 2 weeks as my rookie preseason. And man, did I have a lot to learn and whatnot. So I've done some self-scouting, gone through what seems to have been working and what didn't work so much. And hopefully I'm here with a season-ready package for you now. We're all set to go, and we'll have far less little glitches, and it might work better. Even went out and invested in a shiny new lapel mic, and you can't see it, but there's a camera stand there that's brand new. Between them, I'm in for like $60, so I got to do something with this at least. Hopefully give you guys some entertainment out of it. So we're ready to go. And in fact, on that, I've given myself a mission statement. So here we go. The mission of me and this podcast is to entertain my fellow weirdos, wackos, and CFL nerds by calling them as I see them. That's what the year will be. Hope you stick around and enjoy it. Let's start talking about jerseys. Three teams, brand new alternate jerseys. Some people love, if you haven't seen it, you probably have. The Red Blacks, the Elk, and the Riders. If they're good jerseys, I think. I like some more than others. I am going to order one of those obsidian green ones from the Riders because they do look sharp. And I know people have been complaining that the numbers aren't visible on them all and stuff, but in the end, I kind of wonder, does it really matter? I mean, other than the fact that, yeah, we're going to be buying these, so it's another alternate revenue stream for the teams, and it supports them. But really, the jerseys, I'm kind of reminded of something I heard literally decades ago and I can't even remember who. It was a broadcaster from BC, and I feel bad that I can't name him because he deserves credit for the line I'm going to steal here. I thought it was a great line. He was talking about the Canucks and that V jersey that they had for a while. And he said, did you know that the Canucks jersey was designed by a psychologist in a manner to intimidate the opposition? And no, the psychologist has not won the Stanley Cup either. I liked it. It stuck with me for decades, so there you go. What else do we have? Oh, kudos to John Hodge from over in Three Down Nation podcast. Their one last week was very good, and I especially liked what he had to say about the Jonas Brothers at halftime. I'm not going to repeat it all here because he said it far better than I can. If you haven't heard it yet, go and take in the episode. It's worth hearing, especially if you are one of the ones that are out there calling for sort of Lover Rush Wine to be the permanent house band of the Grey Cup. There was one thing a lot of people were speculating about this weekend was, did the way that Coach O'Shea in Winnipeg run the preseason leave them unprepared for the game? He said that it did. He took it on himself, which is, a good coach is going to do. But did it really? Maybe, maybe not. Personally, no, I don't think this, but I have this in my own little world where I'm very comfortable. I have this vision that they actually forgot the preseason was over and they had a game. I went on the website about 2 hours before the game on the Winnipeg Bombers website where the depth chart and all that information is supposed to be there, and it wasn't there. Now, I know it was probably a mistake, or it was Coach Osh with his paranoid gamesmanship trying to hide things and that. But it left me with an image in my head that I really liked of like Kyle Walters getting a call at 3:30 in the afternoon being, nobody's at the stadium, aren't you here for the game? Oh my God. And then all the coaches and execs running around calling players, get down here, we've got an hour till kickoff. Anyway, that's just my own little picture show that doesn't go on in my head. What else can I talk about? Oh, Macbeth. We can talk about him. He had a passingly good game on Friday night. Made some really good throws, did some good things. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't think that sort of points to good things in the future. I think that's what we'll see all season. I think Macbeth is that. He is, don't get me wrong, he's a talented player. He really is. And he can make some great throws. But there just doesn't seem to be consistency. And the only success he's had, and now mind you, a Grey Cup champ, that's pretty darn good success. But the only success he's really had has been in Coach Dinwiddie's quarterback-friendly system. You look at what Kelly did with it last year, what Dukes did in the game this year. It's a game that's built for quarterbacks. I don't think anybody else brings that to MBT. And I mean, before that, he was bouncing around leagues and teams like an unwanted cousin. If I remember right, back in like 17 or 18 in Toronto, he was even doing sort of a George Costanza. They'd cut him and he'd just keep coming back to the stadium, so they had to keep him on the team, So, yeah. So this is my prediction for the Elk 2024 season. They're going to start with Macbeth. They're going to play him. He'll win a game or two here or there for them, but not a lot. And then they'll stick with him stubbornly, and when finally it's too late to do anything, Chris Jones will turn around and go, oh, Trey, please, come save my job. The season's out of the way, but if we win some, I can keep my job. And maybe it won't. But no, I think this is going to be 2023 rinse and repeat for the Elk. What else can I talk about? Oh, Hamilton and Calgary. That game on Friday night, I don't think anybody knew what was going to happen. I went on Pick'em to do my picks, and it was literally 50-50 split, straight down the middle. Nobody knew which team was going to be able to do anything. And in the end, the game was pretty much what I was expecting. It was a lot of very bad on bad violence until somebody stumbled into enough points to win the thing. It doesn't necessarily look encouraging for the rest of the season on either of those teams. Although Calgary may have a gift this week too. More on that later. I wanted to speak. I have no idea if he's out there listening. But if you are, Luke Mullender, color analyst for the Riders radio show. First of all, you do a great job. The team is much better. I like Dave far better than Ballsy, and you guys do a great job on it. So 2 things I want to say to you. And the first one is thank you for the job you do. Because What I normally do is I watch the game on TSN with their commentators and whatnot, and then the next day I go back and listen to your radio call of it. And then I rewatch it and pick out the plays that I've missed that you pointed out. And this week was no different. You were talking about Lake Cote-Mort, about how the job he did on kick returns in the fullback position. I missed it completely on my first watch. Second one, yeah, I can see where you did what you were talking about. Thank you for calling that to my attention. There were some nice plays being done there. But the second one, number 2, is a bit of a pet peeve. Can you please just lay off the kickers, cut them some slack on this whole Chipgate thing with it? You are very, very strong in your opinion, and I think what maybe you and most of the other people who are questioning it mildly or strongly are forgetting is that all of us humans have a tendency to think we know a lot more about things we don't know about than we do. You know, we're not kickers. I doubt you've ever spent a whole lot of time with a kicker. You may have talked to them and all that. I'm certainly not a kicker. So how do we know that they don't know what they're talking about? Principle of charity, give them the benefit of the doubt when we just don't know that. And the thing is, yeah, we don't. But I will say this on the whole thing about it's just a tiny chip. Can't be enough to affect the actual flight of the ball. Well, first of all, even if it's not really affecting it, if it's got in the kickers' heads for the whole league, we don't want to have the quality of the game go down by that being an unknown variable. So do what the league did. They good job on saying we'll leave it optional for this year, and then we'll figure out how to work with the kickers in the off season and get it done, because they want the stats, of course, you know, and I get that. But I will also say that I'm a little more on their side, because way back, not just in the before times, but almost back at the beginning of the before times when I was this energetic youth, traveling around the country, seeing everything, working odd jobs, doing what I could here and there. One of the bunch of jobs that I worked was at a tire shop. And I don't know if this is still true, but in that time, you put a tire on a rim, you'd put it on a machine that would spin it, and 9 times out of 10, it'd wobble because the tires and the rims weren't exactly right. So you take these little lead weights, and the machine would tell you, tap it on here on the rim. It would compensate for the flaws, and the tire would run smoothly. Now, sometimes that was like 2-3 ounces of weight, but sometimes it was a 1/4 ounce or a 1/2 ounce, which is what I'm understanding that these chips weigh. And I figure if that low weight can affect something as heavy as a tire and rim to running straight or not, there's a good chance maybe it does pull the football over just a little bit. So I'm not quite as skeptical, and like I said, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's just get out past it and start enjoying the season. Another thing to talk about. Logan Ferlin, right guard for the Riders, number 63 in the game, put a little love tap on the side of an elk head and got himself ejected out of the game for it. Now, I saw that, and my first reaction was, good job, refs. I like it. We need to be more firm on that. Not, where it's in play and it affects the play or not, have a little bit of judgment. But when it's this after the play stuff, and especially punching, but even just the cruise in the pile, the way some linemen do and stuff, put an end to that. Because you're role models. And frankly, the best thing about football, yeah, the pro game is exciting and great to watch and everything, but the very best thing about football is what it teaches the young players, the 9, 10, 12, 15-year-olds that are just getting into the game. And one of the best things it teaches them, which no other sport does, not hockey where they allow fighting, not other stuff, teaches them that you can be a very violent person in a moment when it's allowed within the play. You can be as aggressive and violent as you need to be, pretty much. And any other time, anytime outside the whistles, you control that aggression. And that's a good lesson to learn for life. that there are appropriate times when you want to get aggressive, but most of the time you need to be able to check it in. So your role models, yes, CFL, keep calling those, force them into doing the right sort of thing for the young fans, please. Oh, but I did have a bit of a story about that one too, for whatever it's worth. Way back in the day, when not quite to the leather helmet days, but back there when I was playing my high school football, I was lucky enough to be coached by Lefty Hendrickson, well, and Doug Steves as well. But people know they were both fantastic coaches, but people know Lefty because he was, I think he was an all-star. He was tight end with the Lions, did a great job. He used to joke that he was always open because there wasn't a DB in the league slow enough to cover him. But he was a great coach. And this one year, we had a new player who new to football named Kylie, but he'd played hockey all his life, so he was hockey mindset. First game he's in, somebody hits him in a way he doesn't appreciate, and Kylie decides he's ready to fight over it. Now, he doesn't have any gloves to drop, so pulls up the helmet, slams him down, and put him up. Come on, we're going to do this. And then the officials come and break it up before anybody can get hurt and stuff, and Kylie gets ejected from the game, and we go on. I still remember, this is like a long time ago, but I still remember him coming to the sidelines and Lefty going over and putting his arm around him and saying to him very calmly, Kylie, this is football, Kylie. This is not hockey, Kylie. We don't fight in football, Kylie. Do you understand? We don't fight in football. And Kylie, if we do fight in football, we don't take our friggin' helmets off! Said something other than friggin', but I'm trying to keep the show family here. Yep. What else do I have to talk about? Oh, the Mandela effect. Have you heard about this? It's basically where, as I understand it, a lot of people remember something as happening in a way that it didn't happen. The historical facts are different from their memory. I think it got its name from the fact that a lot of people thought that Nelson Mandela, or remember that Nelson Mandela died while in prison, but he didn't. And there's also something about the Berenstain Bears or Berenstein Bears and how the name is different now, and people insist it used to be different in the past. And when people remember these things wrong, you just cannot change them. They are so certain that they know what's going on. The facts don't matter. And I've been listening to and talking to a lot of new people I haven't met about football in this last few weeks and I found out the CFL's got its own Mandela effect. I could not believe this. Do you believe that there are actually people out there who think that the 2009 Grey Cup was played as regular? I mean, they'll even say, that there was some kind of an exciting or controversial ending to it and they've just completely forgotten that great big storm or natural disaster or water main break or whatever it was that got that game postponed and then canceled. They think that it happened and it didn't. Keep that in mind. No Grey Cup in 2009 never happened. Adjust your records as you need to. Public service from here at the CFL Outsider. Let's see. Oh, I also noticed that the Lions were running what I found to be a rather unusual defensive strategy a lot of the time on Saturday night. 1st and 10 or 2nd and long, they seem to be dropping all of their backers and DBs about 2-3 yards past the first down marker and then just waiting there for the ball carriers. I mean, I'm not a DC, but it seemed questionable to me. Let's see, what else can I maybe talk about here? Oh, here's a conspiracy theory. Anybody want a brand new conspiracy theory? Because I noticed something this week. They talk about the fact the NFL is scripted, and people really believe it. I don't know. A lot of people don't. I don't know. I have no idea. But I think maybe the CFL is scripted. And why do I think that? Well, they actually told us. The proof is there. If you look at it, their TSN at the start of the games is running the same montage that they ran at last year. And what is it? It's all 9 teams with their avatars there. And the last 2 teams standing are the Blue Bombers putting along in their biplane. And then the Alouettes soaring over them. Alouettes over the Bombers in the Grey Cup 2023. They predicted it all season with the opening, and we didn't even see it. And what's more, they haven't changed it through this year. So, again, 2024 Cup. Alouettes over the Bombers. Watch and see. Now, speaking of TSN, and not just their opening, but their whole production, they promised new things this year. There wasn't a lot new. And the one thing you were doing was that, talking to you, TSN, the big wigs that making the decisions, what's with that control center shot we suddenly get whenever there's a challenge? It's from miles back. It's too dark to see anybody. You can't see what's happening on the screen. And it makes no sense. If that's supposed to be enhancing my enjoyment of the game, it ain't doing it. I got to tell you, I think maybe you're trying to do what some of the spring leagues down in the U.S. did, where they go into the control center, but they hear them, you hear them talking and how the decision is made. That's maybe worth something. This is nothing. Get rid of it. Just stop it. Okay, stop it, and start putting some effort into the things that will enhance the game for us viewers. 2, the first one you've been told by many people. You don't need to hear it from me. I try to be original here, but I agree with everybody else. Stop the friggin' in-game interviews. They disrupt the flow of the game. They're distracting unless you get someone who's a pro like Matty was on Friday. It was good having him in the booth because he goes with the flow of the game and knows everything. But for anybody else, it's just distracting. And frankly, it's disrespectful to them because we're trying to hear the game, we're trying to watch the game, see what's happening when the plays, which we care about, and we're not really listening to what they have to say. So please, stop with those. Take the interviews, pre-record them, and play them at halftime. Your panel can do with less time. We don't need a recap of the game. We've seen the game. Do the interviews then when you want to do interviews, okay? And then the second low-hanging fruit. Again, maybe not so low-hanging because technically it might be harder, but a lot of the times you're showing the games on 2 channels anyway. You got all 5 of them there. So play one as the regular one, and then on the second channel, you got it when you do that. Down at the corner, put a nice little all 24 view in the picture-in-picture down there. Because then we can see what they're seeing. It's hard to figure out the game. I mean, I love the close-in shots on the tackles and stuff, but it's hard to really follow the game when you're not seeing what the players are seeing. All 24 picture-in-picture. Make it happen. Let's see. What else can I tell you about? Don't know if you care. I went 3-1 in Pick'em. I really should have cognated harder. Should have worked my noggin and rubbed the sticks together in there a bit more on the Argos Lions game, because that was predictable and I got it wrong. But that's 3-1. Now that's easy to say because you didn't see what my picks were. They are on Pick'em if anybody cares. Or you can check them on there. But I figure what I'll do is, at least in case anyone's interested, is I'll start now real quick doing my picks for the following week. I don't think I'll bother with the fantasy picks because that takes up a lot of time, and who cares who I'm picking, although I'll talk about it a bit here. Anyway, so my picks for next week are going to be the Bombers, the Lions, the Alouettes, and the Riders. We'll see how I do. Now there's a caveat on that too. If Vernon Adams Jr. hand is still hurt, then I may change it. He hurt it in the game somewhat, and I think it seemed to me he had his hand strength had to be very weak. The way they were stripping the ball from him at will pretty much at the end of that game. So if he can't go, I have a low level of faith in Jake Dolegala, and even against the sad sack Stamps, I don't know that he can get it done. The Stamps may back into a 2-1 start to the season somehow. Who knows? But anyway, that's it for me. Bombers, Alouettes, Lions, Riders, unless it's the Bombers, Alouettes, Stamps, and Riders, and we'll see when the injury reports come out. Fantasy. Well, let's see. I started my fantasy weekend. Had picked my team. I had Tyson Philpott in as one of my receivers. Thought that was good. And then I started doing the overthinking. Oh, dear. And, Montreal's going to be good. I know that. But They got new receivers. Is he going to get the ball a lot? I don't know. So I took him out and put Tim White in. And there was much cursing on at Old Man's house on Thursday night when Tyson did what he did. Great game, by the way. Very well played. Congratulations. On the upside, Friday I started thinking about Mr. White and going, well, again, I don't know about Bo. I've got doubts about him coming back. And I don't know if they'll be together or stuff. So I pulled him out and replaced him with SBJ, Sean Bain Jr. And man, was there some rejoicing at Old Man's house on Saturday night. Thank you there, son. I think you brought in like 35 points for me in fantasy or something. I ended up, where was it? 122.6, 485th on the CFL site, which, you know, it's something. I don't know how many are on there, probably thousands. Anyway, I'll take it, and most of my fantasy stuff tends to be down in the closer to single digit stuff. So, good start to the season. Don't expect it to carry on very far. And that covers off an awful lot of what I saw on the weekend. I'll maybe just finish off with some of my rapid fire quick hitters, observations and opinions that I thought saw and what I thought of them. Brady Oliveira's interview just before the game on Thursday with TSN. I don't know if any of you saw that, but I enjoyed it immensely because he was being quite good and his words were saying all the right cliche things about we have to go out and execute. It's a brand new season. We just all got to work together, have each other's back, yada, yada, yada. But everything else, his body language, his posture, his demeanor, even his eyes were saying, fuck off. I've got a game to play. Get out of my face. I do think it's grossly unfair of TSN to put the New York Fries hot dog commercials on at the start of the games because it's hard to enjoy a game when you're salivating the whole time. TSN did show Bo's family in the stands on Friday several times, and I have to admit I was a little confused. I couldn't tell if those two fellas that were there sort of cosplaying as extras out of Justified, if they were part of Bo's family or just hitting on Bo's wife. I don't know for sure. I am curious to see what the over-under will be this year on games being postponed due to wildfire smoke. Hate to say it, could be 3 or 4. I hope not, but the world's a-changing, my friends. If the Elk are sold, who gets the money? They're a community-owned team, right? So that's like they actually pay back to the shareholders that are really been, I don't know. Or does any of it go to those 2,000 or 3,000 brave people that actually came out to the game on Saturday night there or Saturday afternoon and cheered the team on? They deserve something for that. I think there were more Rider fans than Elk fans out there. See, I did think, speaking of that game, I did think that the ball carriers, I'm not going to say skilled position because I don't like that term. If you think there's no skill to playing lineman or linebacker or frankly even DB, then you don't understand football. Everything demands skill, but I know you can't call them the ball handlers because that's got connotations that doesn't sound right. So let's just call them the eligible. Those eligible to carry the ball. Anyone on either team eligible to carry the ball and who tried to do that on Saturday afternoon probably spent a lot of the post-game late afternoon evening in the cold tub. Because, man, were those defenses swarming. Both of them, 6, 7. At one point, there was a tackle, especially close to the line of scrimmage. They were just all over it. Like I said, at one point, I counted 10 riders within a yard of the guy when he was tackled. I mean, and they weren't the only ones. The Elk were doing the exact same thing. So, well, my kind of game. I mean, I would have liked to see one of the riding games kind of break it out and get something going. But, man, that's my kind of game. I love the defensive hustle like that. Oh, and speaking of that and all the other extracurricular and the things that made it interesting and whatnot, I got to say to Coach Mace, welcome to the Riders. Good job on that first win, but you might want to get ahead of the game by just going to your doctor right now and having him prescribe you some blood pressure medication, because you know you're going to need it before too long. I think that's all. That's it. If you want to talk to me about anything that I've rambled on about today here, you can email me. Should have been here the whole time. It's oldman, one word, dot shouting at clouds, one word, at shaw.ca. And yeah, let me know what you think. I'm open to constructive criticism. I love it. I can't see my own blind spots. So am I doing good? Am I doing bad? What do I need to change? Or just write in and say hi. That, I think, pretty much, yeah, that covers it now. That's all of it. All I got left to say is, once again, the season's here and I am embracing the chaos. Oh, CFL, gotta love it. Until next week, get the hell off my lawn.